Welcome back to the Marketing Combat Podcast. My name is Chris Kubbernus, CEO of Cubco, a creative agency based in Copenhagen, Denmark. And with me is always my amazing, incredible, handsome, he's got glasses, Jason Donnelly. What's up, man? How's it going?
You know, these glasses are just blue light blockers. I got LASIK, so I can see pretty good.
You're one of those guys, hey?
Yeah, these aren't even real. So fun times. This is the Marketing Combat Podcast. I am Jason Donnelly, the handsome co-host of Chris Kubbernus. And every episode that we do this, we know what the topic's going to be, but we don't know what the way we're going to argue is going to be. So you might be arguing a point that you don't actually believe in, like yesterday's. I may have or may have not believed in what I was arguing. But today, to bring it up to the focus of today, Cannes Lions. The award entries are down 38% this year. So our question is, do awards for advertising even matter anymore? Is it doing anything, or is it just a bunch of advertisers tooting their own horn? Personally, I think no. I don't think that the actual awards matter because of one of the things that we most recently talked about, the 2-minute KFC ad. I think it's going to win a ton of awards. And at the end of the day, which is against my entire fight on the podcast, is I don't think it's a good ad. I don't think that it does anything for KFC other than get people talking about it, which is eyes on it. I think that's the most important thing. It's not about the awards. It's not about the trophies. It's not about the first place in your spelling bee. It's about getting eyes on it. So if it's getting out there and showing a ton of people your product, what you believe in, showing that you're an authentic brand, showing that you're real, showing that you have a product that people will love and fall in love with and use, I think that's the most important. I don't think it's putting a shiny trophy up. I think it's really just more focused on getting it in front of people and getting the sales. So pushing people down the funnel. I know how horrible this is. If you're not in advertising, if you're not in marketing and you're hearing this, and you're like, they just want to shove stuff. Yeah, but I think that's the most important thing. I don't think it's the lions. I think it's the getting it in front of people. Even if you look back at some of the ads out there, like from Scrub Daddy to some of the silly things that have been out there, they're silly, they're ridiculous, but are they going to win an award? Probably not, but they've been seen by millions. And they've probably sold a lot of those Scrub Daddies. Go look at the Scrub Daddy thing. I'll put a picture of it right here. But yeah, I think it's eyes that are more important than lions. So I'd love to know why these awards are so important. Chris, are they actually moving the needle at all?
So my take on it is they don't move the needle in terms of sales, probably. They don't move the needle in terms of effectiveness in advertising. The thing that matters most in these is people. And when we look at the cultural ramifications of when a creative person or an agency wins an award, the ramifications are high. It actually is a pat on the back in a somewhat thankless job in some ways. I mean, a lot of creatives work very hard. It has traditionally been an industry with over hours, not a lot of great pay. I mean, that's why a lot of agency creatives go brand side, because they're like overworked and underpaid, and they're like, crap, I want to really jump out of this and build something for the future. So advertising in general has been like an industry that has always had lower pay, lower thankfulness. I mean, yes, you get to work on cool projects, you get to do things that you get to go to Cannes maybe and hold up an award. And I think that's where it matters the most. So I don't think it has any effectiveness in terms of how well, a brand is doing, but it is basically a nod to creativity and creativity for creativity's sake. I think they might want to mask it in like, this is the best advertising. And we might sit there and we might pat ourselves on the back and say, oh man, we're so good at ads. But most ad agencies, most creatives are not actually looking at the effectiveness. Most brands are not actually looking at the effectiveness. If they were, I think their investments would be done differently. So in terms of like, is it a good thing for the brand? Is it a good thing for society? No, I don't think so. Is it good for the creatives? Absolutely. They love it. Problem, I think, is that we're going to face in the advertising industry, and it's why that Cannes is like lower now, like 38% from the high. Those stats are basically the high number was 2016. There was a ton of entries, but then, the last few years, it's lower and lower and lower, and we're down 38% from that high of 2016. Is I think that we're seeing with the economy changing, is that there's just less money out there for advertising, and that means there's less money for award entries. So I think it's a macroeconomic issue. I don't think it's necessarily like people think they're less relevant or they're changing strategies. I mean, Publicis back in 2018, they dropped actually applying for any awards that entire year because they wanted to invest in an AI platform called Marcel. And I think you might see this actually continue. This might be a trend that more and more agencies are saying, we need to put our money somewhere else. That's what I think could happen. And that might be just a short-term sort of thing while they build some tools, they build some extra things to stay competitive, and then they'll come back and invest in creativity. It's sort of like a ebb and flow. So this is why I think advertising festivals or advertising awards matter, specifically Cannes. So I think that they're great. Jason, on the other hand, said, and I'll quote, no, there's no quote here. I like to add a little title to your section called The Lions Don't Roar Anymore by Jason Donnelly. The Lions Don't Roar Anymore by Jason Donnelly. He thinks that the Cannes Lions don't matter anymore. I think that they still do to the people that apply for them, and I'm sticking by that. Thank you so much for listening to the Marketing Combat Podcast. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please do all the things that you can do. Please review the podcast. That helps us get the show out there, makes us feel good, similar to Cannes Lion. That would make me feel good. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you tomorrow.